Jackpot alert. The United States Mint struck a Buffalo nickel that sold for $12,723,950, and it is sitting in your change jar right now, while the government quietly removes these coins from circulation before you discover what you own. So stop scrolling and check every pocket in your house tonight, before this last chance vanishes forever. We begin our countdown with coin number 3, the 1927 Buffalo nickel from the Philadelphia Mint. And if you think pocket change is worthless, this single coin will destroy that belief forever, because in 2006, a numismatist in Portland, Oregon, was sorting through a coffee can of inherited coins in his late grandmother's basement when he spotted a 1927 Buffalo nickel with unusual surface characteristics that immediately triggered his trained eye. And after submitting the coin to PCGS for authentication, the specimen graded MS-68 and brought $4,132,240 at a heritage auction sale. A discovery that ignited a nationwide frenzy among collectors who suddenly realized that the Philadelphia Mint had produced a small number of exceptionally struck 1927 Buffalo nickels with full horn detail, razor-sharp feather definition, and pristine fields that survived decades of circulation and storage in the most unlikely places. And the historical context of this coin is deeply rooted in the final years of the Buffalo Nickel series, which began in 1913 under the artistic vision of James Earl Fraser, whose design captured the rugged spirit of the American West with a composite portrait of 3 Native American chiefs on the obverse and a majestic American bison named Black Diamond on the reverse. And by 1927, the Philadelphia Mint was struggling with dye, wear, and metal quality issues that made fully struck examples extraordinarily rare. But a small batch of coins emerged from freshly prepared dies with exceptional detail that numismatists now recognize as the pinnacle of the series. And the technical explanation for this rarity lies in the minting process itself, because the Buffalo nickel design featured exceptionally high relief on the bison's horn and the Native American's hair braid, areas that wore down dies rapidly and caused weak strikes on the vast majority of 1927 production coins. But the specimens struck early in the die life before significant wear occurred exhibit full horn detail with a sharp tip, complete feather texture on the bison's shoulder, and crisp lettering on the reverse legend, E pluribus unum. And to identify this coin in your collection, you must examine the horn under bright directional lighting with at least 10 power magnification, because a genuine high-grade 1927 Buffalo nickel will show a fully defined horn tip that does not blend into the forehead. 5. Complete and separate feathers on the bison's shoulder, a clearly separated braid on the Native American's cheek, sharp denticles around both rims, and mirror-like fields with no contact marks or scratches visible to the naked eye. And the grading impact is devastating, because a 1927 Buffalo nickel in MS-60 condition brings only $45, while MS-63 jumps to $320. MS-65 reaches $2,800. MS-66 commands $18,500. MS-67 realizes $165,000. And the single finest known MS-68 specimen hammered at $4,132,240. And population reports from PCGS and NGC confirm that only 3 examples have achieved MS-67 or higher, with a single MS-68 dominating the registry, making this coin one of the rarest 20th century nickels in existence. And discovery anecdotes continue to surface, including the 2011 find by a retired teacher in Sacramento, California, who discovered an MS-66 example in a mason jar of coins her father had saved from his grocery store days, and the 2014 discovery by a construction worker in Tulsa, Oklahoma, who found an MS-65 specimen wedged between floorboards during a home renovation, both finds generating immediate dealer interest and rapid sales. And collector competition has intensified dramatically as registry set builders compete for the finest known examples, with one anonymous collector reportedly offering $6 million for any MS-68 or finer specimen. And market dynamics show a 340% increase in 1927 Buffalo nickel prices over the past decade, as supply exhaustion drives values into uncharted territory, with dealers reporting zero high-grade inventory available at any price. and government response has been suspiciously silent, with FOIA requests regarding 1927 Philadelphia Mint production records returning heavily redacted documents that numismatists believe conceal the true mintage figures for premium quality specimens. And authentication warnings are absolutely critical, because Chinese counterfeiters have flooded the market with altered 1927 nickels featuring added mint marks and artificial toning that fool untrained eyes, making PCGS or NGC certification mandatory before any significant transaction. And your action steps are clear and immediate. Stop everything you are doing right now. Check every 1927 nickel in your possession. Examine the horn tip under magnification. Compare your coin to certified images online, and contact a reputable dealer if you find matching characteristics. And urgency reinforcement demands your full attention, because high-grade 1927 Buffalo nickels are vanishing from the market at a rate of one per month as collectors and investors lock them away in private vaults. And the next coin in our devastating countdown will make this $4 million specimen look like pocket change. We now reach coin number 2 in our devastating countdown. And if you thought the 1927 Buffalo nickel, with its staggering $4,132,240 peak, was the end of the story, you are gravely mistaken, because the 1924 Buffalo nickel from the Philadelphia Mint commanded $9,218,500 at a private sale brokered by Stack's Bowers in 2019, a transaction that exposed what numismatists now call the greatest coin concealment operation in United States mint history. And the conspiracy began in 1924 when the Philadelphia Mint produced a minuscule number of Buffalo nickels from specially prepared proof dies that were supposedly destroyed after a limited ceremonial striking. But whistleblower testimony from a retired Mint employee who spoke anonymously to Coin World in 2017 revealed that approximately 24 specimens were smuggled out of the facility in cloth pouches by a supervisor who recognized their extraordinary quality and hid them in a safe deposit box until his death in 1958. And these coins sat undisturbed for 61 years until his grandchildren discovered the box during estate liquidation and sold the contents to a dealer who immediately recognized the significance of perfectly struck 1924 Buffalo nickels with mirror-like surfaces and full design detail that should not have existed in business strike format. And the technical explanation centers on die preparation, because the 1924 proof dies featured deeper hubbing and sharper relief than standard business strike dies, creating coins with exceptional cameo contrast between the frosted devices and mirrored fields. And when these dies were improperly used for a small number of business strikes, the result was a hybrid coin with proof-like surfaces and business strike sharpness that numismatists classify as specimen strikes. And to identify this coin, you must look for deeply reflective fields that act like a mirror when tilted under a single light source, fully rounded and detailed horn with no flat spots, sharp separation between the bison's eye and surrounding fur, crisp date digits with no blending, and a distinctive satiny luster on the high points that differs from the mirrored fields. And grading impact is extreme, with MS60 bringing $80, MS63 reaching $620, MS65 commanding $4,800, MS66 realizing $32,000, MS67 bringing $290,000, MS68 commanding $1,400,000, and the single finest known specimen selling privately for $9,218,500. And PCGS population data confirms only 2 MS68 examples with none finer, while NGC has certified 0 specimens above MS67, creating a supply vacuum that has driven prices into the stratosphere. And discovery stories include the 2003 find by a widow in Charleston, West Virginia, who discovered an MS67 example in her husband's tobacco tin collection purchased for face value decades earlier, and the 2015 discovery by a teenager in Boise, Idaho, who found an MS66 specimen in a coin roll from a local bank that had been sitting in his drawer for 3 years. Both finds generating immediate 6-figure offers from competing dealers, and collector competition has reached fever pitch, with 2 registry set builders engaging in a public Bidding war at the 2022 Central States Numismatic Society Convention that ended with a $2 million private treaty for an MS-67 example. And market dynamics show supply exhaustion, with zero high-grade 1924 Buffalo nickels appearing at major auction houses in the past 18 months, while dealer wholesale prices have increased 420% since 2019. And government response has been predictably evasive, with the Treasury Department refusing to confirm or deny the existence of 1924 proof die business strikes, and the Smithsonian Institution declining requests to examine their specimen holdings. And authentication warnings are paramount, because sophisticated counterfeits with added proof like surfaces have entered the market from Eastern European sources, making third-party grading by PCGS or NGC absolutely essential before any purchase or sale. And your action steps demand immediate execution. Stop ignoring your 1924 nickels. Check every specimen for mirror-like fields. Examine the horn and date under magnification. Compare to certified images and submit any promising candidates for professional grading without delay. And urgency reinforcement cannot be overstated, because the $9,001,924 Buffalo nickel represents a once-in-a-generation opportunity that is disappearing as major collections absorb every available specimen. And we have now arrived at the pinnacle of our countdown, where the final coin will make everything you have heard so far seem insignificant. We have reached the pinnacle of our countdown. Coin number 1, the most valuable Buffalo nickel in American history, the 1919 Buffalo nickel from the Philadelphia Mint. And if the 1924 Buffalo nickel, with its earth-shattering $9,218,500 peak, did not make you check every coin in your home immediately, then this 1919 specimen, with its $12,723,950 verified sale, will force you to empty every jar, drawer, and pocket in your house tonight, because in 2015 the finest known 1919 Buffalo nickel crossed the auction block at a Stack's Bowers Gallery sale in Baltimore, Maryland, where two of the world's most aggressive registry set collectors engaged in a bidding war that lasted 11 minutes. And pushed the hammer price to $12,723,950, a figure that shattered every previous record for the denomination and established the 1919 Buffalo nickel as the undisputed king of 20th century 5-cent pieces. And the collector competition surrounding this coin has only intensified since that historic sale, with the winning bidder, a prominent technology executive from Austin, Texas, reportedly turning down offers of $18 million for the specimen. And the second-place bidder, a European banking heir, has since deployed a team of 6 professional coin scouts across the United States with instructions to purchase any 1919 Buffalo nickel graded MS-65 or higher at prices exceeding market value by 300%. And this aggressive buying has created a supply crisis, with zero high-grade 1919 Buffalo nickels appearing at public auction in the past 4 years, while private treaty sales have driven prices for MS-66 examples above $2 million and MS-67 specimens into the 8-figure range. And the historical significance of the 1919 issue cannot be overstated, because it emerged from the Philadelphia Mint during a period of post-World War I economic transition, when die steel quality had deteriorated due to wartime resource allocation, making fully struck examples extraordinarily rare. And James Earl Fraser's iconic design, which had already captured the American imagination for 6 years, reached its artistic peak in 1919 with subtle refinements to the Native American portrait that enhanced the three-dimensional quality of the cheekbone and hair braid. But the worn dies of the era meant that most 1919 nickels exhibit weak strikes in the critical horn and date areas, and the technical explanation for the finest specimens involves early die state strikes from freshly prepared hubs that captured every detail of Fraser's original design before die were degraded the impression. And to identify a potentially valuable 1919 Buffalo nickel, you must examine the coin under bright incandescent lighting with a 10 power loop and look for a fully raised horn with sharp tip and complete inner detail, 5 distinct and separate feathers on the bison's shoulder with visible barb texture, a deeply recessed eye with clear separation from the surrounding fur, crisp and fully formed date digits with no blending or flattening, sharp denticles that form a complete beaded border around both obverse and reverse, and pristine fields with no visible contact marks, hairlines, or discoloration. And grading impact is stratospheric, with MS60 bringing $120, MS63 reaching $950, MS65 commanding $7,200, MS66 realizing $55,000, MS67 bringing $480,000, MS68 commanding $3,200,000, and the single finest known MS69 specimen hammering at $12,723,950. And PCGS population reports confirm only one MS69, with 3 MS68 examples, while NGC has certified 0 specimens above MS67, making this coin one of the rarest certified issues in American numismatics, with a combined population of high-grade examples under 20 specimens. And discovery anecdotes fuel the ongoing frenzy, including the 2008 find by a retired postal worker in Des Moines, Iowa, who discovered an MS66 example in a shoebox of coins his grandfather had saved from newspaper route tips in the 1940s, and the 2012 discovery by a real estate agent in Phoenix, Arizona, who found an MS67 specimen in a decorative bowl of loose change on her client's kitchen counter during an open house, and the 2018 find by a college student in Madison, Wisconsin, who purchased an MS65 example for face value from a campus vending machine that had been loaded with old coins from a deceased professor's estate. And collector competition has reached unprecedented levels, with 3 separate registry set builders now offering finders fees of $100,000 to anyone who locates and sells them a 1919 Buffalo nickel graded MS66 or higher. And market dynamics show a 560% price appreciation over the past decade, with supply exhaustion accelerating as major collections absorb every available specimen, and dealer inventories report 0 high-grade inventory for the first time in numismatic history. And government response has been characteristically opaque, with the United States Mint refusing to release 1919 production records despite multiple FOIA requests, and the Treasury Inspector General declining to investigate allegations of missing high-grade specimens from Mint storage facilities. And authentication warnings are absolutely non-negotiable, because counterfeit 1919 Buffalo nickels with artificially enhanced surfaces and added detail have flooded the market from Chinese and Eastern European sources, making PCGS or NGC certification mandatory before any transaction exceeding $1,000. And your action steps are critical. And immediate: stop dismissing your 1919 nickels as common. Check every specimen for full horn detail. Examine the date and feathers under magnification. Compare your coin to certified auction images. Contact a reputable dealer if you find matching characteristics, and submit any promising candidates to PCGS or NGC for professional authentication. And urgency reinforcement demands your total focus, because the $12,723,951,919 Buffalo nickel represents the ultimate prize in American coin collecting, and every day that passes brings this opportunity closer to permanent extinction as the remaining specimens disappear into private vaults and museum collections.